Hello, good morning to all you. I hope you are all doing well and having good time. Um, I really missed you, all of you, and I hope when we launch our online class, we will enjoy it and learning new things and information. As you know, because of corona pandemic, so we cannot come to school. We will continue learning through edmodo platform. So I hope, as I said before, we all enjoy it. uh, Please stay safe and stay at home and follow the Ministry of Health instruction to be safe. Okay. Before we stop coming to school, we start chapter 5, humans and animals. Um, so, in this chapter, we will learn about humans and animals. Um, in this chapter, we will learn how we can classifying or grouping different living things. So, as we know, things around us divided in two main groups: living things and non living things. Okay, so yeah, so here sorting living things. Okay, yeah, that's good. So, sorting living things or classifying living things. As I mentioned before, things around us divided in two main groups: living things and non living things. Living things divided into four main groups: group of animals, group of plants, group of bacteria, and group of fungi. As you see here, group of animal on the top right, group of plant on the top left, group of bacteria on the bottom right, and group of fungi on the bottom right, and group of fungi on the bottom left. So we have four main groups. Yeah. The question here: how the animals can be sorted. Let me do this. Yeah, this is better. So, how the animals can be sorted in different groups based on their features. They can be any number of groups. For example, animals could be sorted into animals with fur, or animals with feathers, or animals with scales, or animals that can fly and animals that cannot, or sorted by size or color. So we have different ways to sort or classify living things or animals. Okay, we find that we have millions of different types of living things in the world. So, in this chapter, we will learn how can we classify living things into group according to their similarities or differences. As we mentioned before, we have different ways to sorting living things or animals. For example, animals with feathers, animals live on the land, or animals live in the sea. So different ways. Which one it will be the best one to classify or sorting living things? Okay, that the thing we will learn in this chapter how can we classify different types of living things in group according to their similarities or differences, according to their similarities, according to that features they are shared between them, according to their differences, that features they are different in it. Okay, as I said, we have four main groups of living things: group of animals, group of plants, group of fungi, group of bacteria. Yes, animals, plants, fungi, bacteria. Animals, plants, fungi, bacteria. The four main groups of living things. Yeah, so what is the classifying living things, or what is the sorting living things? What is the classification? Classification, it means grouping living things with the same features. That means what? The living things that have the same features, we will put them in one group. So one group of living thing shared the same or most of the features. Okay, so when I want to classify living thing in groups, we or I put them in groups with when they have the same or most of the same characteristics or features. Characteristics and features, same meaning. So any living thing in one group, that means they have the same or most of the features. So classifications, it means grouping things with the same features. Every living things, including animals, has features that are same or different from others. So when I put them in one group, that means they have the same or most of the features. When I put them in different groups, that means different groups have, or yes, different groups have different features. Different groups of living things have different features. So the four main groups, that means the group of animals have different features from the group of plants. The group of plants have the different features from the group of bacteria. The group of fungi have different features from the group of plants. Okay, so each group has its own features or characteristics, and all living things in this group shared the most or all the features. Why do we need to classify living things into groups? Why I have to do that? Okay, there are too many living things in the world. Classify living things help us to in identification and study different groups of living things. Okay, for example, as I mentioned before, how I can classify animals. We suggest just ways. We said animals with fur, and animals with wings, and animals can fly, and animals cannot fly. No, this is not scientific way to classify living things. But the scientific way to classify living things, that means put them in different groups according to their features. Because there are many two living things in the world, we should know way to classify living things. Why do we need this? We need this when we classify living things in groups that make it easier to us to study the features, because as we mentioned, one group, that means they have the same features. Different group, that means they have different features. That means when I find many living things belong to one group, logically, I said that they have the same or most of the features. Okay, so classification make it easier for us to study and identification the different group of living things. Among this chapter, we will learn the four main groups of living things and ways to sort them into these groups. So the ways to sort them in this group, that means we will study the features of each group in details. Okay, so we by the end of this, we will be able to sort different types of living things in different groups according to their features. Yeah, okay. So this all about classification living things. So classifications, it means put living things that have the same features in one group. And sorting living things, that means put the living things in group according to their similarities or differences. So classifying, put living things in groups according and they when they have the same features. Okay, and sorting living things, that means put living things in groups according to their similarities and differences. As I mentioned before, in the world we have the four main groups of living things: plants, animals, fungi, bacteria, and each group has its own features. And any living things in one group, that means they have the same or most of the features. Okay, why do we need to classify living thing? That make it easier for us to identify and study them. Okay, I hope you are enjoying this lesson. Thank you for attending the lesson. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye. Goodbye.